and a very warm welcome to our live online learning information webinar. My name is Amy. I am part of the recruitment team here at the School of Social and Environmental Sustainability here at the University of Glasgow's Dumfries campus. So today we'll be chatting all about our opportunities for online distance learning here within our school. And I'm joined today by my colleague Naomi. We're going to be talking through our available courses and programmes, as well as answer any questions you may have about our online learning environment, careers, so much more. So before we get started, if you have any questions about studying with us here at the University of Glasgow, please just use the text chat here on YouTube to send them in, and we'll answer them live on the session this afternoon here. So let's get straight into talking about exciting online opportunities. Naomi, I'll let you introduce yourself and take it away. Thank you so much.
Good evening, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name is Dr. Naomi Richards, and I'm Director of the End of Life Studies Group here at the University of Glasgow. I'm going to give you a little overview of our online End of Life Studies program, which is fully online and is also stackable. And these are key features, unique features of this degree program. So it's a postgraduate program, and it offers critical perspectives on end-of-life practice and policy, on palliative care, on cultural representations of death and dying, and many global aspects of this really important issue. The unique factor of this online offering is that we take an interdisciplinary approach to our learning, our teaching and our learning. And that's primarily interdisciplinary social sciences and humanities, but we also draw from the medical and health sciences literature as well. The Glasgow End of Life Studies Group has been going for over 10 years, and I have been directing it for the last few years. And we undertake an array of different research studies. I have studied poverty and end-of-life experiences here in Scotland and undertaken work into equity-informed palliative care. My colleague, Dr. Craswick, has undertaken ethnographic studies into the delivery of palliative care in Canadian hospitals. We do joint research on this critical and foundational concept of total pain within palliative and end-of-life care. We both look at public health approaches. I've been doing work on assisted dying for about 15 years now. Marion is one of the international leaders in research on the end-of-life doula movement, which is an international movement. We also have specialism in visual representations of dying, death, and grief. I work with colleagues in creative writing at the university, and I run a research network called Death Writes, which is about engaging and supporting writers, creative writers who are based in Scotland to write the untold stories of dying, death, grief, and loss in Scotland. And Marion, Dr. Craswick, works on ecological grief as well with our colleague in the End of Life Studies group, Dr. Sandy Whitelaw. So the End of Life Studies program is a program. So for some of our students, they're ultimately aiming for the full MSc. Now, this is an 18 to 24 month program of work full time, but can be taken more gradually on a part-time basis over 3 to 6 years. But some of our learners don't want to do the full MSc, so we have a postgraduate diploma offering, which is basically the 6 courses of the program minus the independent dissertation, which some people don't want to do. So they can exit with a postgraduate diploma after 12 months of full-time study or 48 months of part-time study. And Below that, we have the postgraduate certificate, which is 3 of our courses, and you can choose which 3 you're most interested in taking. And these can be taken over 8 to 12 months full-time or 24 months part-time. I should also add that we are offering our courses as single standalone CPD courses for those who are interested in that as well. So the program is designed to be very flexible because we find that most of our students also have jobs, and so they are looking for that flexibility, and the majority of our students do take the program on a part-time basis. We have entry points in September, January, and April. And we have 6 courses that run. So the 2 courses that run from September and are currently in full swing are Assisted Dying Rhetorics and Reality and Global Challenges and Dilemmas in End-of-Life Care. Those are both 11-week courses, 20 university credits, and they run from September to December every year. Then in January, we have Public Health Approaches to the End of Life and the Continuum of Aging and Dying. These courses run January to April every year, and students can start the degree in January with one or both of those courses. And then we have a 3rd semester, which starts in April. And the 2 courses that run from April to July are Cultural Representations of Death and Dying and Theory, Methods, and Ethics in End-of-Life Research. So our students, as I said, most of them are professionals, and they are wanting to advance their careers, or they're wanting to get into the death industries of various kinds. So as you can see here, example careers are non-governmental organizations concerned with end-of-life care policy, service design and management, international health organizations, particularly those with a focus on end-of-life care and the aging and dying continuum, government agencies and departments that take responsibility for end-of-life care strategies and provisions. And we also have people from the creative industries that come to our degree because they're working on this topic and they want further inspiration about creative representations of dying, death, grief, and loss. So this slide is about what you can expect with each new semester. So every course, there's some new students entering, and then there's some continuing students who have done courses previously, and you move through the course and the courses in a flexible way. Each course has about 2 assignments, and they have different deadlines. So the first deadline is usually at the midpoint through the semester, and the second deadline is usually at the end of the semester. The assessments vary across the courses because we want to give students a taste of different types of assessments, because we all prefer to be assessed in different ways, and we may feel like we excel in one thing more than another. So we have some really creative assessment types, such as designing research posters, reflexive journaling, and for cultural representations, we have an assessment which is to create your own representation. And I'll maybe talk a little bit about that at the end or during questions. So on average, could I just go back, please? On average, we have about you're expected to kind of work through about 10 hours per week, and with a notional learning hours of 200 hours across the semester. But this includes the time it takes for you to write or create your assessments. And that's kind of standard for all 20 credit university courses, those hours. So it's all offered asynchronously. Everything is online from the moment that you gain access to the course. And although we have weekly live Zoom seminars, which are aligned to the topic of that particular week, you can go forward and back in time depending on your availability that week, the time you have to look at the materials or your interest. So it really is something you can pace. You can get a pace that sort of fits your own schedule and how you prefer to spend your time. So yeah, there is an active WhatsApp student group. This is optional, I should add, and there is always extra support offered by myself and other teaching colleagues on the degree, should you need it. Okay, next slide. So yeah, this is what an average kind of week might look like. There'll be some short lectures on the online platform for you to watch and listen to. Some people learn better by watching, others put them on their headphones and have them as podcasts. You'll be asked to do 1 to 2 readings, and these will be academic readings, so latest research papers or a kind of theoretical contribution, or even a classic kind of chapter of a classic book, because we don't like to just stick with things published in the last couple of years. We like to take a more historical perspective on our topic and revisit some of the classics and what they've taught us. So there's each week there's also contributions from external expert stakeholders, so interviews that we have conducted and recorded with those stakeholders to give you broader perspective. And there's also links to other types of media, so podcasts which are particularly tailored to the intended learning outcomes of that week, or short videos or films. So we try to use a variety of media to keep everybody interested, to provide variety to suit different learning styles. And along the week, you will be prompted for your reflections and to comment on the learning steps, and your fellow learners will also be commenting. So this really, in the comment section, this really builds up a community amongst the cohort, and you get to know each other by seeing the comments of your fellow learners, responding to them, and building up a dialogue there. So you have both the live seminars at the end of the week, where you meet your fellow students and can build rapport and learn from them, so kind of peer-to-peer learning in those live sessions, but also throughout the week in the online comment section. Okay, next slide, please. So this might be what a kind of week's content would look like. Usually I would say there's about 9 to 10 steps per week, as I said, of different types of media, different things you're being asked to do, whether it's read an article or engage in an active discussion. But we like to try and keep things interactive, even though it's done asynchronously. Okay, next slide, please. Here, this gives a sense of the spread of professional roles that our students come from. So you can see here But we have students who work in bereavement support, social work. We have doctors, funeral celebrants, care home directors, nurses, academics, end of life doulas, chaplains, spirit, documentary filmmakers, retirees. I should also add we have hospice volunteers, and I'm just trying to think from the new cohort. I'm not sure this slide's been updated with the new cohort job roles, but really this slide is to give you the impression of the variety of professional backgrounds that our students have, and remember, these students are based all over the world. So one of the benefits of our program is learning from other students who work in different professional roles and in different cultural contexts, essentially. So it provides for a great kind of learning opportunities and professional connections to be made. Okay, next slide, please. Here we see where our students come from. I won't read all those countries out, but yes, you can see that there's a wide variety of countries represented, and each semester we have new people joining, and the scope of countries represented in our program grows with each new cohort. Okay, so this is about the opportunities beyond. So this is really advertising the contributions that students have made to our end of life studies blog. So I run a blog which is open to the public and has a high number of subscribers and readers internationally, and we offer this blog as a platform for our students to publish work and to tell the story of their learning journey if they so wish. So I published a blog that this is the top blog, Creating Representations of Dying, Death and Grief, about the creative assignments of one of our cohorts of students in the Cultural Representations of Death and Dying course. It's quite an unusual assignment, but what we find is that students really embrace this and discover creative sides of their brain and create things that they can add to their portfolio and really talk about when they go back to their jobs or seek new jobs. And with that in mind, I actually am about to publish a new blog tomorrow, which is one of our students works as an end-of-life care clinical nurse specialist in a hospital in England. And he drew a picture. It was a very rudimentary picture for this assignment, but it was quite moving. And he really loved that course in particular, and how creating that representation had made him reflect on his father's death. So even though he works in end-of-life care, this was a personal representation. But he graduated with his MSc and continues to work in this hospital, where he has now developed this initiative where he brings clinical staff from across the hospital to 3-hour-long sessions where they essentially create representation. So he shows them this representation that he created on this course, and they are provided with creative materials to do their own. And he's written this blog where he says that approximately 40 members of staff have now engaged with what he's calling the Art of Dying project across his hospital. And it's going to continue going in 2026. So this is a great impact for the MSc and for this particular assignment. So if you want to check out our End of Life Studies blog, please do so, and that one will be going live tomorrow. We also occasionally have face-to-face. Obviously, this is absolutely not essential. It's very much additional, and it really came about because our students had built up close bonds through, as I say, the live seminars and the conversations online every week, and they want to meet up. So we've had sometimes we've had sort of summer visits from particular cohorts. Students will also sometimes support and turn up for graduation for fellow students who perhaps graduate a little bit earlier in the program. So we'll have a little get together around graduations either in December or summer. And I think, yes, I'll take next slide, please. As I said, the degree, what's really unique about it is that it's stackable. So we actually have micro-credentials, which are 10 credits. Then we have the single course CPD offerings, which are 20 credits. If you want to take just one course, so for example, you're interested in assisted dying because it's potentially going to be made legal in Scotland or in England and Wales, so you'd like to just take that and see how it goes. But perhaps you really like the learning style of the course, and you really like the content, and you like the way it's being taught, so you feel like you might want to keep going. So then you can keep going because it's so flexible, and you can stack. So you can do one course and then another and then another, and you can exit, as I said at the start, either after 3 courses for the certificate, 6 courses of the diploma, or 6 courses and plus a dissertation for the full MSc. Next slide. Oh, that's the end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Naomi. So much fantastic information there. I mean, we've got so much on offer. As you say, it's such a flexible program. So many different options, different routes in, routes out, you know, whatever really works best for you is so important. So I'm conscious of our time. We have a couple of questions here that I want us to answer. Our first one here, let's see, are there opportunities to visit the campus and meet other students? I mean, a resounding yes, you absolutely can if you would like to. We kind of touched on this a little bit just a moment ago, Naomi, on a trip that we had. But I mean, I think it's important to say that all of our students are more than welcome. Dumfries campus, Gilmore Hill campus, you're more than welcome to come and visit anytime. It's your campus, it's your university. You know, use the library, use the facilities, absolutely. But Naomi, anything else you'd like to add there?
Yes, I would just like to say you are more than welcome, and it's always very lovely when you meet people who you've taught over many months or even years, and when you finally meet in person, either at graduation or at one of these visits that we arrange. And it's it's very nice, and there's a lot of well-wishing between the students. And I would say that the students have built up really lovely relationships. Even though the course is online, I don't think it actually impacts on the quality of the peer-to-peer relationships, which I know extend beyond the end of the, you know, when they complete the program. So currently, Marion is actually in Mexico for Dia de Muertos, and that is with our PhD student who was actually, she was a former MSc student who went on to do a PhD, and some of the cohort that she graduated with. So they were all out in Mexico. So I guess what I'm saying is you know, people create, it's part of the nature of the topic, I think, where people create very strong bonds, and sometimes they want to come out of the screen and meet each other to consolidate those bonds, but it's absolutely not required, but it is just something by student demand.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. I think we've got time for just one more question that we have here. So let's see. Am I able to link what we are learning in our assignments to my current job role? I mean, again, if that's a resounding yes, but you're the expert here. I'll let you talk about this, Naomi.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is something that we really, really encourage. The assignments are designed so that you can you can hopefully use what you create in your place of work. So I mentioned the creation of the posters, for example, and students have created those and then, put them up in their hospital or a place of work or whatever. I've mentioned the example of the creative representation. So I'm sure when the student did that piece of work, he wasn't at the time thinking about, this is going to be really useful for starting up a hospital-wide initiative that 40 staff are going to get involved in. He probably wasn't thinking that, but that's kind of what happened. And so every assignment can be useful for your current job, and there's a lot of flexibility in the topic of your assignment. So you can, for assisted dying, it has to be on assisted dying, but there might be particular aspects of assisted dying that you're interested in. So for example, one of our current students works in England at a centre for older people in her community. So she supports them, and she's looking at specifically older people's attitudes to assisted dying. So she has tailored that to her particular interest because of her professional role. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, of course. I think that's so important as well for our students to be able to, as you say, tailor that almost portfolio, I guess, at the end of their studies, to be able to showcase really, rich, items they developed, with their passions and with their goals in mind, that is really kind of quite personal to them, and something that could actually be really useful for their community or their position, or it's a really valuable tool, I think, and something really special that we can kind of help our students build along their studies. So no, that's great. Thank you so much, Naomi. I'm afraid that brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you so much. I really hope you found it useful. The recording will be available here on YouTube if you want to watch anything back. And of course, you're more than welcome to contact us, get in touch with us. If you have any questions whatsoever, we're here to help. We don't want you sitting there worrying at home. If you have any questions about how to get involved with us, or join one of our programs, please just reach out. We are more than happy to have a chat with you. We are here to help. So to find out more about studying at the University of Glasgow, you can visit our YouTube channel to view programme overview videos or student videos, for example, or you can head to our website, glasgow.ac.uk/Dumfries. Lots more information there for you to explore as well. So thank you once again for joining our session today. Really hope to welcome you to our university, to our programme sometime soon. And we'll say thanks again and goodbye for now. Bye, everyone.